Hello everyone and welcome. I'm Anne-Marie and I'm really excited to be guest designing for Altenew on their Mixed Media Blog this month. I decided to create a scrapbook layout and to demonstrate how easy it is to incorporate many Altenew products into other projects, as the products are so very versatile. I started with a 12 by 12 sheet of mixed media cardstock, and my idea was to create a pretty spring layout using various flower designs from Altenew, as it is now spring here in New Zealand where I live. I chose a couple of 6 by 6 papers from the Altenew Celebrate paper pack. Of course you could use regular 12 by 12 pattern papers and just cut them down. To add some interest, I tore along the left and right sides of each piece, curled up the edges, and also tore some of the edges in a few places to give a distressed look. I adhered the papers to the right of the center line, following the rule of thirds, as this is more pleasing to the eye and helps to balance the overall layout. Before adhering these papers to the base layer, I wanted to add more texture and color to the plain white base using the ink smooshing technique, one of my favorite mixed media techniques, as it is so easy to do and each time the results are unique and organic. I used the Eastern Sky ink from the Lapis Lazuli set of Altenew inks, which is a really beautiful soft baby blue color. I used some plastic wrapping from one of my new Altenew stamp sets, smooshed the ink down onto the plastic, spritzed the ink with water, and then dabbed all over the background so that the blue would show up on either side of the patterned paper. I allowed this to dry completely. Of course it didn't take long because I'm using a dye ink which dries quickly. Off screen I created a variety of flowers and pastel colours from various Altenew stamp, set, stencil and die sets. These will all be linked in the description below. I lay them up and fussy cut out the ones created using layering stencils, and I really think they look so pretty. Altenew have some stunning flower stamps and dies, and these just give me so much joy when I'm creating with them. I felt that another layer of interest would work well on to ground the floral clusters, so using the Altenew Reflections die, I cut 2 pieces using craft cardstock from my stash. I glued these down using small dots of liquid glue, then arranged my 2 photos using Altenew dimensional foam tape. This is the best foam tape I have ever used in my 20 years of scrapbooking and paper crafting. You really have to try it. It is the best. Next is my favorite part, spending some time arranging clusters of flowers in 3 main areas to kind of frame the photos. I like to always use 3 clusters on a layout and always odd numbers of flowers. I used the dimensional foam tape to pop up most of the flowers to give some added dimension to the layout, and also so that I could tuck leaves under the flowers and gaps until I was happy with the placement. I had also stamped out and die cut some small floral clusters in pale blue to help tie in the blue from the photos and create contrast to all the pastel pinks and peach flowers. Don't be afraid to cut these apart into smaller bits to fit behind larger flowers. I made sure that I didn't stick down the flowers properly until I was completely happy with the layout, so I was able to adjust and fuss around. I'm a bit of a perfectionist in this way and I can fuss for a while. I decided to add a few more dabs of blue ink onto the background and spread them out a little with a wet paintbrush. I then added some fine black splatters using Altenew jet black ink, watered down slightly with a bit of water, and note how also I've used some plastic packaging again to protect the photos and flowers while I'm doing this. For the title, I chose a sentiment from the Altenew Inked Lotus stamp set. I stamped it in black pigment ink using my Mini Misty stamping tool and heat embossed it with Altenew Crystal Clear embossing powder. I trimmed it and cut a fishtail on the right for interest and popped it up while nestling it in below the photos and amongst the flowers. A project of mine would not be complete without some bling or sparkle. I applied some clear shimmer pen to some of the raised petals of the flowers and then added some iridescent sequins around the layout and around the title. And I really love how this layout turned out. I hope that you have enjoyed watching my process video and that I have inspired you to try it yourself. Until next time, happy paper crafting.